हार्ट टू हार्ट प्रोग्राम लेकर एक बार फिर से आपकी सेवा में हाजिर है आप ही की अपनी सरिता सबरवाल। उम्मीद करती हूँ जहाँ भी हैं आप खुश हैं, खैरियत से हैं और जिंदगी को एंजॉय कर रहे हैं। मैं सरिता एवरी थर्सडे किसी ना किसी सेलिब्रिटी के साथ आपकी सेवा में हाजिर होती हूँ, उनसे बातचीत होती है, उनके करियर के बारे में, उनकी जिंदगी के बारे में बहुत सी बातें हमें जानने को मिलती हैं। इस प्रोग्राम को आप बेहद पसंद कर रहे हैं, ये जानकर मुझे बेहद खुशी होती है कि मेरी मेहनत सफल होती है। अगर आपने अभी तक YouTube चैनल सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया है तो कर सकते हैं। सरिता सबरवाल इज द चैनल एंड फेसबुक पर भी मुझे फॉलो कर सकते हैं। जैसे कि मैंने कहा कि हर हफ्ते किसी ना किसी सेलिब्रिटी के साथ आपकी सेवा में हाजिर होती हूँ, तो आज भी मेरे साथ एक बहुत ही प्यारी सी वेरी ग्लैमरस सेलिब्रिटी हैं, नाम है जिनका अलीशा फरार। Alisha Farrer is from Australia and she's an actress, television actress and makeover artist, a model of Indian heritage and बहुत खूबसूरत हैं। She is a state finalist for Miss World Western Australia in 2013. Her first role in film came with the 2016 blockbuster romantic drama Love Games and the Bollywood comedy film Hotel Beautiful नहीं बल्कि Beautiful in 2017, directed by Sameer Iqbal Patel. And also she worked in the film called MOH, directed by Rajesh Rathi. So she has done ads for brands such as Renault, with popular Bollywood celebrity Ranbir Kapoor and Lipton Detox Tea with Shraddha Kapoor and Adlib. इसके अलावा और भी बहुत सी सनसिल्क वगैरह की इन्होंने एड्स की हैं. Also acted in a few episodes of drama series like ये है मोहब्बतें, इश्कबाज, गुमराह and many more. So आज all the way from Australia मेरे साथ हैं बहुत ही glamorous Alisha Farrer. Alisha, welcome to the show. How are you today?
Thank you. I'm very good. Thanks. How are
Good.
you?
I'm okay, my dear, and I'm really sorry कि इस वक्त आपको जगाए रखा है सरिता सबरवाल ने, क्योंकि it's quite late in Australia. So चलिए बताइए, आप वहाँ रहती हैं, you were born and brought up there, तो इतनी खूबसूरत हिंदी बोलती हैं, क्योंकि मैंने जब टेलीफोन पर भी आपसे बात की तो I was actually surprised कि ऑस्ट्रेलिया में born and brought up लड़की इतना अच्छा बोलती हैं. So how did all happen? क्या मम्मी डैडी ने आपको पढ़ाया या when you were in schooling तो उस वक्त आपने सीखी हिंदी वहाँ?
आजकल काफी बच्चे जो यहाँ पे पैदा होते हैं उनको इतनी हिंदी बोल नहीं पाते, बट हमारी मम्मी बहुत स्ट्रिक्ट थी. इट्स मोस्टली माय मॉम. वो कहती थी कि अगर आपको रिप्लाई करना है तो सिर्फ रिप्लाई करो. तो हमारी मॉम ने बहुत पुश किया कि हम हिंदी सीखें, और नॉट जस्ट हिंदी बट आल्सो अबाउट इंडियन कल्चर, इंडियन फूड, इंडियन क्लोथिंग, एंड दैट्स हाउ वी sort of got into more Indian culture and speaking Hindi.
राइट. अलीशा, आप बहुत खूबसूरत हैं, तो क्या बचपन से ही आपको शौक था कि आई हैव टू गो इनटू मॉडलिंग और आई वांट टू बिकम अ फिल्म स्टार? और अगर फिल्म स्टार बनना था तो किसको आप रोल मॉडल समझती थी? सो हाउ इट ऑल हैपन? और सबसे पहले तो आपने जो ब्यूटी पेजेंट में हिस्सा लिया, तो हाउ डिड इट हैपन?
From a very young age, I was interested in the film industry. I remember when I was younger, we used to get those Stardust Film Fair magazines, and I used to like flip through them and see all these Bollywood actors, and I used to think, wow, they're just so beautiful and so glamorous. And then the DVDs, back in my day, it was the VHS, so we used to watch all these Bollywood films. We used to rent them out, and I used to see them. I used to think, wow, that's so nice. And जो लोगों को ये सब अच्छा लगता है, जैसे dancing, acting, I think बहुत young age से वो दिखने लग जाता है. I used to like dance in front of the TV, and like I used to imagine myself कि मैं इस film में हूँ. And I think my parents saw that, and they really supported that, and I sort of flourished in that environment. They got me to perform at people's weddings and sangeets, and I did a lot of modeling as a child. I was with a modeling agency. I did a lot of fashion shows, a lot of performances for the Indian Society of Western Australia. So my parents really supported me. And then I think when I was 18 years old, my dad sent my photos to Sydney for Miss India Australia. And then that's sort of how the whole pageant scene started. Then I applied for Miss World Australia. Then I did Indian Princess, then Miss North India. So I did quite a few pageants from 18 till 20.
Right. Okay. When in childhood you said कि you used to dance, शादी या कोई functions होते थे, तो you used to dance there and sing as well. तो किस हीरोइन को आप उस वक्त बहुत पसंद करती थी और कौन से गीतों पर डांस किया करती थी? Was it Devi? Was it Madhuri Dixit or somebody else?
It was Aishwarya Rai. I just loved the way that
Oh, okay.
she danced, the way she performed, her expressions. I think everything was on point. And I used to also watch her interviews and the way she spoke, the way she carried herself. I just thought, wow, I want to be just like her. And I really like Krishna Kapoor as well. I remember distinctly at one wedding, I danced to the song called Le Gaye Le Gaye from, I think the movie was Dil To Pagal Hai.
Yeah.
And I think that performance, a lot of people loved, a lot of relatives. So every time I went to an event, they were like, oh, do that dance that you did. So that's how people in the Indian community and my parents' friend circle sort of saw that I was into this whole acting and modeling thing. And they all supported me and said, you know, aapki beti to actress banegi. It was just like a given.
Yeah. So you said कि your father took it for pageant के लिए उन्होंने photo submit कराई थी. And so how did it go? Step by step, if you can tell our viewers कि what is the criteria? किस तरह से it happens?
Well, when I was modeling as a kid, I took a break in high school. That time I was in a dance specialized school, so I was mostly focusing on dance and drama. So I enjoyed that a lot. And then I was the highest scoring student in my grade. We won this Dux Award, which is like the highest award for drama. And I think my dad kind of felt that, you know, this is in her since childhood. We should push her towards that. So my dad had a photo shoot done for me, and we pitched it to agencies. I got into two agencies. One was Scene Model Management, and the other was Actors Now, and then there was another one called Extreme Models. So I got pitched to these agencies. They all accepted me. They liked my photographs, and then they used to pitch me for work. And then we came across Miss India Australia. It was advertised around Perth. So my dad's like, let's apply. So my dad sent my photos and they, of course, liked them. They accepted me. And then that's when they had the process of selection. And then that's when they sent me to Mumbai to participate in Indian Princess.
So how do they groom you? How do they train you? What you have to do? Catwalk कैसे करना है या बात कैसे करनी है? All the mannerism and how does it happen? What do you have to do?
So when you go for training, once you arrive there, you meet all the girls and then you go through classes. So I think it's about 10 days before the actual pageant. And then they have people who come in, people who are experts in their field, whether it be dance or walking or makeup or poise, that sort of thing. And they teach you how to talk, how to walk, how to face the camera, how to answer questions. And once we go through that training after 10 days, that's where we have the finale, the final pageant.
Mm-hmm. Were you nervous at all? How many contestants were there?
So when my pageant, it was Indian Princess and Indian Princess International. So they had 10 girls from Mumbai who came to Mumbai from all over India. And then they had 10 girls internationally. So we had South Africa, we had UK, we had Uganda, people from all over the world. And we all participated in the pageant together and we all stayed together. So the Indian Princess International girls were trained separately and the Indian Princess girls from all over India were trained separately. And then in the final 2 days of the pageant, we all kind of met and we all got along and it was really nice. So we go through that training and then that's when we go for the finale.
So you were also in top 5 for Miss World as well that year.
Yes, so I participated in Miss World Western Australia. I sent my pictures online and then I was accepted and I attended a few meetings. But at that time, I couldn't go forward with the pageant because then I had Indian Princess. So at that time, I went to Mumbai and I couldn't fly back in time to participate for Miss World Western Australia. But it was just nice even to be a finalist. I felt really good. I didn't even think I'd make it that far.
Right. And how did you feel after that? And were you offered any like contracts with the films and modeling contracts आपको मिले? किस तरह से आगे बढ़े?
So when I did Indian Princess International, then that was in Mumbai. I stayed there for 10 days. And then my pageant coordinator and his family, they were already staying there. So they suggested that I extend my trip and do a few auditions and meet a few people. So at that point, like, I was like, I'm in Mumbai. This is crazy. This is like the LA, you know? So I was already so excited to be there that, whether I get anything or not, I was just like, wow, I'm in Bollywood. I was just so starstruck. And I got offered an audition for Student of the Year. So that's where I auditioned. And then I flew back to Perth and they wanted me to come back for a second audition, but I couldn't go because I was already in Perth. I was just in Mumbai for a short time. So just auditioning, I was like, wow, like this is such a big production. This is Karan Johar. So I felt like this is something I really want to do. So I took some time. I focused on my studies, and then eventually my parents thought I was ready. That's when I made the shift to Mumbai. That was in 2014, so 3 years later.
So it was not that difficult for you because you won the pageant, and but otherwise, if you go into Bollywood and try to be an actress, how difficult it is? Was it difficult for you as well
It
to
is
break
really
through?
difficult. It is really difficult because there's so many different levels of film. You've got like the A grade films, the B grade films, the C grade films. So there's so many types of films that you can work on. It depends on what you want to do. Like some people just want to do A grade films. So they'll sit around, they'll audition for years and years and years, and then finally they'll get a break, but like 10 years later. But you have to have that much patience. With me, I was quite lucky. I got my first film, Hotel Beautiful, within like 3 days of landing in Mumbai. My friend who had suggested that, you should come down, I knew her from the UK actually. So she said that, why don't you come down to Mumbai and audition? And I was like, oh, why would they take me? There's so many beautiful girls, like I had zero confidence. But she was like, no, just come down, just audition, see how it goes. So I auditioned, and the director felt that my look for that character was exactly right. Like I fit the character, I look like the character, my hand movements, my body language, my behavior was that character. So I got casted, and I was pretty lucky because that time my acting skills were not great. I don't think that I was amazing as an actor. I wasn't like, Bollywood ready. But my director, he went under, he put me under like intense training for about a month. So that's where I had workshops on the dialogues and how to speak and how to dance. And after 1 month, that's when we started shooting.
And are
So
we
yeah.
talking about Love Games?
This was Hotel Beautiful. So Hotel
Oh,
Beautiful was
Hotel
shot
Beautiful.
in 2014, yes. But the release took so much time because with India, with the censor board and the rules and the editing and the production, everything takes a lot of time. And with Love Games, that happened in 2016. So that was a bit later, but that released first, surprisingly.
Yeah, that was your first break. That was Love Games. So tell me
Yeah.
about your role in Love Games.
This was about 2016. So I play the character who's innocent, and she's like married, and the one of the lead guys kind of gets her to cheat on her husband with him because it's all part of the game. So I play Sonia Ryan, I think that's my name in the movie. So yeah, this was back in 2016, so quite some
Were
time
you
back.
were you happy with your role?
Yeah, it was really
Did
good. I
it
mean,
give you a
initially
recognition?
when I went for the audition, I went for like a 1 day role. There was this, we have WhatsApp groups in Mumbai where all the auditions come onto the groups. And if you're associated with a casting director, he'll put all the models into one group. So
Mm.
this casting came out for a Vikram Bhatt film. And I saw it and I was like, oh, that looks pretty good. Vikram Bhatt is a great director, and it's just a 1 day role. But I thought, you know what, it's a big budget film. Even being 1 day role, that'd be pretty great.
Mm. Okay, so the second film was Hotel Beautiful, not
Yeah.
Beautiful. So what
Yeah.
was Beautiful for?
It was just like a play on words. They just wanted to do something a bit different. And the hotel is meant to be like a really old hotel, which is still running. Because a lot of times in India, you have these like antique hotels which are still going. So I think it's trying to show like the hotel is going, but like it's not really well maintained, but they're still like trying to make money, still trying to hustle, still trying to make the hotel work. And then, we go there and it's advertised that it's this beautiful resort in Goa. So that's why my husband decides to go there with his mistress, and then this other couple come as well. But when we go there, nothing is working. Like the AC isn't working, the room doors don't work, and we're just complaining like, what is going on here? So it's all about like us living in this hotel where everything is going wrong. There's so much like craziness going on.
Right, okay. इसके अलावा और भी कुछ फिल्मों में काम किया. Some are, it always takes, as you said, It's a long procedure. It takes so long before the film releases. So there are few films which are in post production or release हो चुकी हैं कुछ, like Joel, and also Zindagi and Love Games, Moh and Joel. So and you have worked in one Telugu film.
Yes.
So how did this Telugu film came along?
That was like that well auditioning. I got offered this role for this Telugu film, and I was like, "Will I be able to do that? I don't even speak the language." But they're like, "Oh, it's fine. Just mouth." But I told the director, I was like, "I want to do it correctly. So just give me the script. I want to know the words. I want to mouth it correctly. I want it to look like, it's dubbed. I want my words to match on screen." So I did the film, and that was quite nice. We had to go to Kerala to shoot, and that was different. We also shot a bit of it in Hyderabad as well. So when we were shooting there, it's like a whole other city. I was too scared to go out because I didn't really know anybody in that city. So I was mostly just going from my hotel to the shoot locations. It was nice. It was very professional, and it was a fun environment to work in. And yeah, the song sequence were also fun. I learned the songs off by heart. So they were easier to lip sync than the actual dialogues. But it was a good movie.
Right. Alicia, in the very first movie, which was Love Games, that was by Mukesh Bhatt and Mahesh Bhatt sir. And to work with them is like a dream come true. You know, people, girls or newcomers, they always look for Mahesh Bhatt saab ki filmo, and he's got a big name. So what was your experience working with them, and also how did you find them?
Yeah, so as I was saying earlier, when I went for the audition, it was just like a 1 day role. So when I was sitting there, I saw the casting director and a few other casting people talking in the room, and they're like, "Please wait." So I was like, "Okay, let's just see." And then they're like, "Oh, we really liked your look, but we think you're suitable for another role." So I was like, "Oh, okay. Is this like, oh, well, how's this gonna go?" And they're like, "We want you for a bigger role." And I was like, "Wow, all right, that's pretty good." So they're like, "Okay, so you're gonna have a few more scenes, you'll have a few dialogues. We're gonna get back to you about all the details. Come in next week to sign the contract." So I was like, "Wow, this is really cool." So I came in, we signed the contract, and we shot it in South Africa. So it happened quite fast. We had 2 workshops. So we sat with the director, the other casting crew, went through our dialogues, we listened to the song, and working with Mahesh Bhatt was great. We went to South Africa. Everything was very professional. Everything was on time. We got on set, and in between shots, the director would sit with us and talk about stories and his experiences. And because the film has a heavy story about drugs and alcohol, so he would talk about his own stories and his experiences with this sort of things. It was really great to spend time with the director and learn so much from someone who's been in the industry for so many years.
Mm-hmm. Right after the pageant, you did work with the Manish Malhotra, and you came to
Yeah.
London even to do
Yeah.
fashion shows. So tell us about that.
I came to the UK, that was in 2012, I believe, and I worked for Manish Malhotra at Grosvenor House in London, so that was quite nice. Meeting him was like amazing because I've seen so many of his fashion shows as a kid, and I was like, wow, working with him in person, it was pretty surreal. And there were also other girls that I had also done the Indian Princess pageant with, and they were also there from their respective countries. And we all sort of met, we talked, we spent time, we caught up. It was really nice, and it was really fun experience. And yeah, there were girls from all over the world. We were all dressed up and glittery and taking photos. It was really fun.
So we have heard you are Manish Malhotra's favorite.
Oh, like, don't trust everything you read online. Honestly, people interview you, they say all sorts of stuff, but no, don't trust everything you read online.
Are you into many fashion shows like modeling and catwalks and all that? Does it happen a lot in Australia, or you go internationally?
I think like Perth, the industry in Perth isn't that big. Like I've done a few fashion shows here, and I've done like one commercial, one web series here. There isn't that big of an industry. There isn't that much work. If you want to work in the Australian film industry, you're better off moving to Sydney or Melbourne or even LA if you want to do Hollywood films. So in Perth, I haven't done that many fashion shows. I recently worked for Brides of Asia. That was in Perth. I was the showstopper there, where I wore Indian bridal jewelry, and then we had like a story sequence, and then I had like another showstopper male with me, and we walked together, and there was like kind of the story of like how we got married. So that was really fun. Mostly in India, that's where I've done the majority of my fashion shows, and that was quite fun. When I was younger, I did a lot of fashion shows. So that was like kid modeling, you know, when I was still trying to make it in the industry and make a name for myself. So after I turned, I think 21, 22, that's when I was mostly focused on acting and more than the modeling. I still did like photo shoots and brand shoots and TVCs, but less of runway stuff.
We'll talk about working in commercials as well, but you've done since 2015, you have done a few drama serials as well, maybe, 2 or 3 episode roles, but you have worked in Super Cops versus Super Villains in 2015. इसके अलावा ये है मोहब्बतें, it was a long बहुत देर तक चला ये है मोहब्बतें, and I think it's still showing, and you were in episode 495 495, and Ishqbaz one another one, and pilot जो उसका episode था, you have worked in that one. Gumrah is the other one, and DD National के लिए daily beauty shows you have done, and MTV Split Villa, इसमें आपने काफी काम किया है. Yes.
Yeah.
So tell us about drama serials. So is it different experience altogether from Bollywood films, or is it similar?
So with TV shows, they require a lot of commitment. So you'll be shooting not just for your 12 hours, you've got like 13, 14, sometimes 15-hour shifts if you're doing TV. So I always told myself that's not really something that I want to get into. I prefer acting in films and shooting things scene by scene, because when you're working long hours, you don't get much sleep. You're constantly traveling to the set and back. You're shooting 4, 5 days a week, sometimes 6 days a week. You don't really have a life outside that. And for me, it was very important for me to have a balance. So I never wanted to commit to a TV show. So I was more open to doing episodics. Episodics are shot in 1 day or 2 days, and they're usually like 1 episode series. So that takes about 12, 13 hours to shoot, and I just preferred them. So I've done a few of those. They were really fun, and you get your script. You have like 1 or 2 days to memorize, and I always found that a lot more appealing than just committing to a TV show.
Right. Alisha, because you are not settled in Mumbai, is that the reason you are not getting that much work as you could have got it if you were settled in Mumbai?
Oh, absolutely. If you're there, you're available to audition, you're available to actually attend, because when you're in the industry, you have auditions every day for whether it's television commercials, TV shows. You have like a set list. Like I used to literally make a note, like, okay, so today I have 6 auditions. I have to go to all of these places. I used to Google Map and see, okay, so this is closer than this. I can do this on the way to this, So that was my life in Mumbai. Like, I would wake up in the morning, have my breakfast, get ready, go to auditions, and then, finish up my day. And being here, I can't audition. I mean, the best I can do is like a Skype interview. And if they want to see you in person, if they want to do a callback, it's a lot more harder. So that's when I was like, okay, it's not really going to work for me. And when COVID hit, right before that, I came to visit my family. And after that, when COVID hit, I couldn't go back to India. It was not safe. And after that, Bollywood is not the same anymore. I feel like there's a lot less work. It's a lot harder to do work in movies with all the COVID restrictions, and also traveling. Would I be able to come back? Because Western Australia has very strict rules about who they let in, and some of the citizens have not even been able to come in from over east. So I didn't want to be, away from my family for God knows when, and then living in Mumbai wasn't really practical. So that's when I moved back, and I felt like, okay, if I do feel like going back, if the world is ever the same again, then yeah, I can pursue my career and go back. In the meantime, I'll live in Perth. I'll do a few modeling gigs here and there. And I'll focus on my business, because in 2013, that's when I started my makeup business. And I used to like partake in it sporadically. But when I moved to Mumbai, acting was my main focus. So now I started branching out, and alongside my modeling and acting, I started doing my makeup business.
Right. Let's talk about your modeling again. And Renu car ke liye, you worked with Ranbir Kapoor alongside Ranbir Kapoor. So tell us that experience.
That was really great. There was me and there was a few other guys that were shooting, and we shot alongside him. But you know, when you're shooting a commercial, you're there for like 5-6 hours, and like, you know, you're in the sun, you're shooting, you got a whole bunch of different shots. But when it's edited and when it's on the cutting room floor, like you see yourself, and then it's the next scene, you know, because commercials have like, they have to be on air for like max 30 seconds, you know. So in that time, they've got the montage shots, they've got the shots of you, they've got the shots of the main character driving the car, they've got shots of the car. So your screen time is like very little. But for my relatives, of my friends, like, oh my God, that's Alisha, take a photo, take a photo. So when that ad released, I had a lot of my family and friends taking photos. I just saw you, I just saw you. But it's there for like 2 to 3 seconds before they shift back to the car, because obviously that's the main part of the advertisement. But that was quite fun. I think working with celebrities initially for me when I was younger, like when I was 18, 19, I think that time it was like, wow, I'm working with an actor in Bollywood. But I think when you're in the industry, when you live in Mumbai, you see actors everywhere. You go to a lot of parties where there's actors there. So you kind of become desensitized and you don't have that same wow effect. Everything becomes very professional. And when you're shooting, like, you know, you're just like, I'm just with another person. So I didn't really feel like, you know, that sort of starstruck feeling.
सो अलीशा शुरू में हिंदी में बात कर रही थी मुझसे, अब टोटली इंग्लिश में हम दोनों ही आपस में बातचीत कर रहे हैं. तो मैं जानना चाहूंगी, जैसे आपने कहा कि यस फिल्मिंग जब होती है तो 5-6 घंटे भी लग जाते हैं, एंड देन जब फाइनल प्रोडक्ट सामने आता है तो उसमें सीन कट जाते हैं, बिकॉज ऑब्वियसली 30 सेकंड की कमर्शियल होती है, तो उसमें एड में तो ऐसा होता ही है. पर फिल्मों में भी क्या ऐसे ही होता है कि इतने लंबे डायलॉग्स, इतने लंबे सीन्स, लेकिन जब सामने देखने को मिलते हैं तो ओह ओके, बस इतना ही था? तो डू यू गेट दैट सॉर्ट ऑफ फीलिंग विद द फिल्म्स एज वेल?
या इट डिपेंड करता है कि वो फिल्म का सीन कितना इम्पोर्टेंट है स्टोरी के लिए. जैसे अगर कुछ जब आप फिल्म बनाते हो, आप शूट करते हो, आपके पास घंटों का फुटेज है, पर आपके पास पुराने जमाने में तो 3 घंटे के फिल्म होते थे, अभी सिर्फ लाइक 1 hour 50 minutes और 1 hour 30 minutes के हिंदी फिल्म बनते हैं. और लोगों के पास इतना पेशेंस भी नहीं सिनेमा हॉल में ऐसे बैठ के एक पूरा फिल्म देखना. डीडीएलजे वाले जमाना तो चला गया. तो आपके पास बहुत सारा फुटेज होता है और आपके पास एक स्टोरी होती है और आपको उसमें एडिट करना पड़ेगा जस्ट टू गेट आपके मेन शॉट्स दैट कंट्रीब्यूट टू द स्टोरी लाइन. सो मोस्टली जो मेरे सीन्स थे वो इम्पोर्टेंट थे स्क्रिप्ट पे, तो मेरे इतने सीन्स कटे नहीं थे. बट हाँ, आई थिंक होटल ब्यूटीफुल में मैंने काफी अपने लाइक लंबे लंबे डायलॉग्स देखे, तो छोटे से छोटा बना दिया गया ताकि वो फिल्म टाइम से बन पाए, ताकि वी हैव लाइक अ 1 hour 30 minute film. तो ऐसा होता है, but it's nothing that's been like bad. Everything helps the storyline. You know, everything that's being done is to make the film better, to make it more.
So when you are filming during that time, do they talk about your accent?
I don't think that मेरी हिंदी का इतना ज्यादा एक्सेंट है, बट ऑल्सो जब हमारे पास स्क्रिप्ट आता है तो हम पहले स्क्रिप्ट को याद करते हैं, फिर हमारे पास वर्कशॉप्स होता है, तो हम दूसरे एक्टर्स के साथ बैठ के अपने डायलॉग्स बोलते हैं. तो डायरेक्टर भी साथ होता है, फिर डायरेक्टर बोलेगा ये डायलॉग ऐसे बोलना है, इस टोन में, इस फीलिंग के साथ, इस इमोशन के साथ, और ये वर्ड ऐसे नहीं ऐसे प्रोनाउंस किया जाता है. जैसे हिंदी में जब they have the RD, which is the but a lot of times, because English is my first language, I'll say R. So my director will be like, no, you have to roll it. So we have a lot of like practice with the dialogues, and I think that really helped me Hindi filmon mein apne dialogues ko अच्छे से portray करने में.
Good. बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है बात करके. पता चल रहा है कि एक लड़की जो कि मुंबई की नहीं है और ऑस्ट्रेलिया में रहती है, वो किस तरह से मुंबई तक पहुंची और एक सक्सेसफुल एक्ट्रेस भी बनी है, साथ में मॉडल भी हैं, बहुत सा काम किया है. एंड नाउ आई एम गोइंग टू टॉक अबाउट यू आर अ मेकअप आर्टिस्ट एज वेल.
Yeah. So when I was, I think when I was finishing high school and I started uni, I used to see, back then we had only one YouTuber, which was Michelle Phan. She was like the only person on YouTube who used to make YouTube tutorials about makeup. So I used to watch her videos and I used to think, wow, and I used to try and copy that. So जो भी मेरे पास थोड़ा बहुत makeup सामान था, जो भी मम्मी का थोड़ा सामान लेकर, I used to like put my makeup on and go to uni with like a full face of makeup because I was like, I love makeup. And धीरे धीरे मेरा interest बढ़ता गया और YouTubers आने लगे scene में, people like Carly Bible, so many different people. And I started watching their videos and I thought, I want to incorporate that. I want to look like that. I want to do my makeup like that. Or my makeup skills better होते गए. And I used to take photos and put them on Facebook. So a lot of my family friends and friends, they used to see my photos and they used to be like, dude, you're so good. You should do this for a living. You should do this professionally. Can you do my makeup? So ऐसे करते करते मैंने अपने दोस्तों का मेकअप किया, मैंने अपने फैमिली फ्रेंड्स का मेकअप किया, और मैं फोटोज खींच के फेसबुक में एक एल्बम में डालती थी और लोग शेयर करते थे, और फिर लोग रैंडम लोग लाइक जैसे मेरे फ्रेंड्स मुझे मैसेज करते थे कि मेरा स्कूल बॉल आ रहा है, क्या तुम मेरा मेकअप कर सकते हो, या मेरी एनिवर्सरी पार्टी है, क्या आप मेरे मेकअप कर सकते हो. So ऐसे करते करते I was like, okay, well maybe I should actually do this for a living. So that's when I started doing makeup alongside modeling, alongside my studies. And मेरे parents भी सोच रहे थे कि इतना क्यों करना चाहती हो, इतना कुछ already कर रहे हो. But I was like, नहीं, I love makeup, and for me, it doesn't really feel like work. It's like fun. I get to play with colors, and that's how I started practicing. और ऐसे by word of mouth बढ़ता गया और मेरा Farrer Beauty business launch हो गया.
राइट, ओके. सो आज अगर मैं कहूँ कि अपनी तरफ से ब्यूटी टिप्स कुछ दीजिए, सो व्हाट वुड यू से अलीशा, किसी को भी. अच्छा, पहले यही बता दो, मेरा मेकअप ठीक है?
हाँ जी, बिल्कुल. Yeah, it looks great.
नो, पर ब्यूटी टिप्स अगर किसी को देनी हो कि किस तरह से मेकअप करना चाहिए, सो व्हाट सॉर्ट ऑफ टिप्स यू विल गेट?
Well, firstly, अलग-अलग type के जैसे makeups होते हैं. For example, there's everyday makeup, and then there's your party or special occasion makeup. So I think that अगर कोई makeup सीख रहा है जिनको आता नहीं है, सबसे basic चीजें आप कर सकते हो. You don't need a lot of tools, you don't need a lot of colors, you just need the basics. So you need a foundation which matches your skin tone. काफी time आप देखते हो किसी ने foundation लगाया है जो अपने neck से नहीं match कर रहे और अलग-अलग colors हो रहे हैं. तो बहुत ही important है कि आप एक ऐसा foundation लो जो आपके skin tone को match करे. Setting powder is very important. That foundation stays in place and it doesn't sort of slip and slide with the heat. Setting spray is very important. These are like the essentials. You need a good mascara जो आप daily wear पहन सकते हो, कि रोज हम बैठ के lashes तो नहीं लगा सकते, हर किसी के पास time नहीं होता, तो एक अच्छा mascara की जरूरत होती है. एक अच्छी लिपस्टिक जो आपको पसंद आए, like an everyday lipstick जो आप हर occasion के लिए पहन सके. जैसे मेरे पास एक लिपस्टिक नहीं, एक लिप लाइनर है जो मैं हर जगह हर occasion के लिए पहनती, क्योंकि मुझे ये कलर इतना पसंद है. It's quite similar to my actual lip color. So when I put it on, I don't feel like, oh, I have lipstick on. A lot of times when I wear like a pink or a red, I feel like, oh, I have too much on. I think makeup looks best, especially everyday makeup, if it's as close to your natural looks as possible. So a good lipstick which matches your skin tone, a good foundation, a good mascara. These are like the basics. Then you can move on to like eyebrows. कि आप एक अच्छा brow gel लो. अपने eyebrows को groom अच्छे से रखे. That makes your makeup look a lot more neater. फिर आप lash extensions भी ले सकते हैं. जैसे कोई लोग lazy होते हैं और like rose, they can't put on lashes or they don't have time or they're working or they're moms. So lash extensions can make your life a lot more easier. Personally, me, I can't handle lash extensions. I'll just sit there and pull it out, you know. But I think lash extensions, that's a game changer. And आजकल के ज़माने में there's also lip tattoos. People have permanent makeup. That's another way of saving time. But these are the basics. And then you've got your contour, you've got your highlighter. So if you're in a rush, you know, you can just contour a little bit of blush, a little bit of highlighter. You don't even need brushes. You can just use your finger and sort of do it if you're in a rush. So these are the basics.
So have you launched your beauty products in Australia, or is it just you do the beauty tips and, you know, like makeup artists?
So I've launched my own lash collection, which I sell to my customers. So when they come in, I've got a few different styles of lashes. I've got different styles. So you've got your basic natural lashes, which look like they're your actual lashes. And then it goes on to like very, very fluffy, dramatic ones for those who like to have a bit more volume in their lashes. But like for me at the moment, I'm wearing my own brand, Farrer Lashes. This is kind of what I sell. And eventually I want to get into foundation because I love makeup. I love skincare. And I research a lot about it. And I feel like it's really my passion. So this is something that I eventually want to pursue alongside my acting and modeling and stuff. And I do want to have my own makeup collection. But right now I'm just like still in the planning stage. So eventually that is the goal.
Right. Lately you have worked in a music video for Punjabi artists. So tell us about that.
So yeah, I was approached by a music director here, a person who makes music videos, and he contacted me and he was like, "Would you like to do a music video for us?" And we're doing it with a Punjabi singer, Gurlez Aktar, and a local Punjabi singer, Sukh Kuman. So I was like, "Yes, that sounds awesome. Let's do it." I'm the kind of person, like, I don't really think too much about should I do this, should I not. I think that every opportunity should be taken. So I was like, "Yeah, this sounds great." And plus, I love Gurlez Aktar. I love her music. I listen to her in the car a lot when I'm like going somewhere. And I've always wanted to do a Punjabi music video. But like, a lot of times when I was working in the industry, I was typecasted as like the hot girl, the good looking girl, like, the model. So I really wanted to do something which is more traditional. And I think when you do a Punjabi music video, you have the opportunity to um, go into that sort of classic Punjabi look with the salwar kameez and the nose pin, and that's something that I always thought. I always told my mom I would love to do a Punjabi desi music video, like a typical Pind di kudi. And then when they told me that this would be my look, I was like, yes, definitely yes, let's do this. So we filmed it about a month back, and then it was in editing for another month, and then we recently released it last week, and it's been doing really well. I think it's hit over 100,000 views on YouTube. People are making tons of TikToks and videos to it, and it's been shared worldwide, so it's doing really well. So yeah.
So what is in pipeline now?
At the moment, I haven't really pitched myself for any acting gigs. I feel like you really have to be in Mumbai, and I don't see myself going there anytime soon. Especially, we can't leave WA. I think, and things are getting worse with the Omicron, and like you have to be double vaccinated to go anywhere, And I feel like even if I do go to India, if I go to Mumbai, how am I going to come back? And I'm really attached to my family as well. I was away from them for about 6 years, so like even if I don't see them every day, I live like just 5 minutes away from them, so I'm quite close to them. And we have family traditions where we spend like every Friday night we watch a movie together. So like I'm finally spending time with my family. I'm finally back with them, so it's great. And I feel like any work that I do, I would like it to be local for now. Traveling right now is not an option. But yeah, if there are better times and I do get an offer, I would definitely go over to Punjab or Mumbai, wherever. But for now, I'd rather my work just be consistent in Perth.
So what is the corona situation in Australia, Perth?
So Perth has very strict rules. We're not letting people come in. We closed the borders in March, and then after that, borders were open briefly, and people can go, but they have to quarantine for 2 weeks. And for Sydney and Melbourne, they just closed the borders off completely. There was no chance of coming. And I think around June, July last year, they opened the borders for the eastern states, which is where I went to Sydney, and I chilled there for a few days. So I enjoyed myself a lot. I just needed a break from my business, and I had fun. And the funny thing was, the day that I flew back from Sydney, there were 21 corona cases. The day I flew back. So I was sitting in my room like, oh my God, do I have corona? Do I have corona? And then they were like, okay, you need to self-quarantine. Then you need to go and get tested. So I got tested, and they were like, yeah, you're all good. And I was like, 21 cases, that's crazy, because Sydney was fine. And then Sydney went into lockdown around July last year, and then it never opened up again. So no one, like none of my friends from there could visit. Even Melbourne, no one from Melbourne could come, no one from Queensland. So like WA is kind of like its own country now. Like they've cut off every means possible people coming in. And I think that's what sort of saved us, because there's very, very few cases. And WA has had like a dream existence, because we have been going partying and clubbing and dinners and events and family functions and going to the beach and going to restaurants and doing whatever we want. But people internationally don't have that freedom. Like Mumbai has curfews. People in Sydney and Melbourne can't go anywhere. They were in actually like lockdown, where they couldn't see anybody, they couldn't visit their families, they couldn't leave the house. So we've had that dream existence because of these rules. So we were really lucky that way. And now like borders are meant to open in March, or we can travel internationally. But with the new Omicron viruses, I don't think they're going to let us go. As well as now they've made double vaccination compulsory. So if you want to go anywhere, you have to be double vaccinated. Like the other day, I was with a group of friends and we all wanted to go to a restaurant, but one of my friends wasn't double vaccinated, so we couldn't get in. So we're just like, oh, okay. So they need to see your vaccination proof. Even to have a job, you need to be double vaccinated. This wasn't pushed so much as it was Uh, it wasn't pushed that much a few months ago, but since like December, that's when they got really strict with the rules. And I think that's good. We have our freedom. There's no pressure per se to get vaccinated, but yeah, if you can't work, if you can't go out, then the pressure is like, okay, well, you might as well. A lot of people are like, don't want to get vaccinated. They're just like, no, we're not comfortable with this. We don't know what's in it. A family friend of ours refuses to get vaccinated, and now they're not working. They were a nurse for almost like 5 or 6 years, and now
Mm-hmm.
they're not working, but they just don't want to get vaccinated. They're like, no, I don't know what this is. I don't want to put this in my body.
Yeah.
So because of the lack of vaccinated people, we're not allowed to travel. They've made the rules so much more stricter just to make sure that maximum amount of people get vaccinated. But I feel like when we reach 92%, I think that's when we'll be more free.
Yeah. Some people are reluctant. They don't want to get it vaccinated, but I think for their benefit, they should anyway. When we were talking about ads, like television ads, you worked with Ranbir Kapoor, but same time you worked with Shraddha Kapoor as well in Lipton's Detox tea commercial. What was it like to work with the female co-star, you can say, or working with Shraddha Kapoor?
It was great. Like she didn't have any attitude that you thought that like a famous celebrity who's achieved a lot would have. She was just so nice and she was so friendly and she was talking to all of us like as per normal. It was really fun to work with her, and I was with a group of other girls as well. So there were like 5 or 6 other girls, and I don't know if you know this about the industry, but sometimes some people aren't that nice. So there was like one girl who was like, there's always one in every group who was a little bit like unkind, a little bit weird. So there was that one girl, and I remember that when I was shooting that ad, she was sitting right in front because we had these tables where we all have like food where we have to eat, and then we have to show that, oh, we had the detox tea and now we're feeling so great. So we were shooting that ad, and there was this one girl who was sitting in front, and she was just like, I'm gonna sit in the front, and I want all the attention. So like with me, I'm pretty chilled out. I was like, yeah, okay, like do your thing. And then the director was like, Alicia, I'd like you to sit in the front, and her face was like so red. And then she was like, oh yeah, I didn't want to sit in the front anyway. I didn't want to be in the front. So there's always one. So I think like when you work in the industry, that's another really important factor is to be thick-skinned. There
Yeah,
are like other girls who are going to want to compete with you and they're going to be jealous and they're going to be mean. That's quite common. So that
it
happened. But
does.
otherwise, shooting that commercial was really fun. Another interesting thing was we had to eat chane bhature on that commercial, right? So you'd think that'd be fun, but no, because we had to shoot for almost the whole day. We shot until sunset. We started at 6 a.m. So can you imagine eating chane bhature from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.? At the end, we were just eating it and spitting it out into a box because it was just too much. Like we just could not eat it. And then they kept adding oil because it has to look fresh. And when food is lying around for a while, it doesn't look that fresh. And they kept adding more and more oil. And then we had to like dip our roti and eat it. And it was like, oh, it was so bad. But in the end, it turned out to be a positive experience. It was fun, and the commercial looks great.
Oh, good. I wish I could show that commercial. But anyway, अगर कोई watch करना चाहता है, then they can watch it on YouTube or so. And I know you got beautiful hair, and you worked in Sunsilk as well. Sunsilk commercial.
Sunsilk, yes, yes. That was 2015. Yeah. So that time, I think my hair was brown. I had just colored it brown. And I had gone for the audition. And with the Sunsilk audition, it was an open audition. So an open audition is when you have like, they tell everyone can come. So like there's hundreds and hundreds of people that come. So when you go to these audition places, it's usually like a really small room somewhere in some messed up sort of place. So in Mumbai, there's this place called Aramnagar in Versalva, where it's like messed up. Like there's like these tiny little production studios, and like there's so many of them. There's like just in a row, and alongside it, it's like a mess, and there's like a huge medan where there's like it's muddy and stuff. So I remember that day when I was going for the audition, it was raining. And in Mumbai, when it rains, there's like mud all over the place. And I got out of my rickshaw and I stepped into like this puddle, and I was like, oh, what's going on? And when I went into the audition room, there were already like um I would say 100 people inside the room, like 50, and then outside the room. And then you had to audition in front of all those people. That's also another side of the industry. So I did my audition and whatever, and I was like, oh, let's see what happens. There's so many people, and that's like 100 people per hour. So you can just imagine, like, if they're casting for 3 or 4 days, tons and tons of people want to be in this commercial. So I got a call back from them that evening. They said, you've been shortlisted. And I used to get shortlisted for a lot of things, like most of my ads. So I'm like, yeah, okay, let's see. Because sometimes they shortlist 10 people per day and then they finalize in the top 3 and then the top person. So when they shortlisted me, I was like, yes, I'm shortlisted. And then they're like, okay, they called me back, I think a week later, and they were like, yeah, you've been selected. This is your shoot date. You need to reach at, I think it was 5:30 a.m. was my call time. So I lived quite far from the shoot location. We were shooting at St. Xavier's College in Mumbai, which was about 2 hours from where I lived with traffic. So I got up early in the morning and like my eyes were all like red. And that time I think my dad was visiting from Australia. So my dad came with me. We went all the way there. And my poor dad stayed on set with me the whole day. I'm very lucky that way. I'm very blessed to have very supportive parents. So my dad was like there with me the whole day on set. And then I was going in the makeup room, coming out, getting dressed. And when I went there, there was like so many other people. So then it was like a college shoot, like a college school shoot. So there was going to be like a whole bunch of other people who are also doing the ad with me. So there was about like, I think 6 or 7 other main lead girls and 5 other main lead boys. And I was one of the mean girls in the ad who's like, oh, my hair is this. And then the main girl comes and then she's like, oh, but I use sunsilk. So that was really fun to shoot. I think I have that sort of mean girl look. So I get casted for a lot of that. So yeah, I shot that. And then we finally packed up around 6:30 p.m., 7 when the sun started to go down and we just couldn't shoot. And yeah, it was a pretty long day, but it was a fun shoot. And my dad was there with me. So my dad was like chilling with me during the breaks and like talking to the producer, talking to the director and stuff like that. So yeah.
Right. Okay. Your parents been very supportive throughout from the beginning, when you were just dancing in the crowd, like social gathering until now. But do they say now, Alisha, this is time now to settle down?
Oh, of course. That's like an Indian parent thing. Like they have to say that. If your parents don't say that, are they even Indian? So yeah, of course my parents, they do want me to settle down. But for me, I think like it's important to establish yourself first, establish your name in the world, make a name for yourself, establish your business, and then get married. Because I think that in today's day and age, you can find love anytime, but now is the age for us to work. Your 20s to your 30s are your most important time where you need to establish yourself and make something of yourself. So I told my parents, like, during this time when I'm working, if I find someone who is, I feel like who is on my vibe, who has the same sort of energy as me, then great. Until then, like, I'm not in any rush. And my parents are pretty good that way. Like, they do tell me that, you should settle down, but they're not like forcing me to get married or forcing me to meet people. They sort of have the same views that I have. And having supportive parents is such a blessing. It makes your life so much more simpler, so much more easier. So, yeah.
Right. You have worked with so many people. I would like to ask you who is very down to earth and you had pleasure working with that person?
I think it was Johnny Lever when we were shooting Hotel Beautiful, because he was just so nice and he was so friendly and he was just like another one of the people on set. We all sort of sat together, had lunch together, and then he invited us to his place. So me, my Musti, who lives in the UK, my mom, my sisters, we all went to his house. We had lunch. We talked to him about his films. We met his family. And then when he came to Australia for a meet and greet, he came to my parents' house and he was just having lunch with them, just chilling with them. So I think he was super cool and super nice, and he still stays in touch with my family after my shoot. So it was very nice.
Right, Alisha, it's lovely talking to you, and I hope you have enjoyed this conversation too. If I missed out something, yes, I wanted to ask you that if somebody wants to become, youngsters who are watching this, if they want to become model or they want a big breakthrough in Bollywood, what do they have to do?
Firstly, I would suggest to any children that if you do want to pursue this career, finish your degree first. Focus on your studies. That's the most important thing. It's fine to like have an interest in acting and modeling and do it on the side, but the most important thing is to get your degree, focus on your studies, and keep this as a hobby on the side. Don't let it take over your life. And then when you do decide, I want to believe that what it takes, you should definitely go for it. But keep in mind that there are hundreds and thousands, not millions of people who want stardom, they want the fame, they want to do the same thing that you want to do. So if you do decide to pack your bags and go to Mumbai and pursue a career, I think it's very important to understand what you're getting yourself into and understand that it is very hard. I think just living in Mumbai itself, when I first went, it was raining, it was cloudy, it was pretty scary to be there by myself. My dad's like, okay, well, I'm gonna leave you to it now. We're gonna go back. And my dad really helped me set up. He helped me find a place. He helped me get fully settled, and then he left. And my dad left. I was like, oh my god, what am I gonna do now? I'm all by myself, you know. And especially when you don't know anybody there, I just knew one girl, and she was also shooting, and she was very busy doing a film back then. So it's very important to stay focused, stay calm, and understand that it's not always going to be easy. There's going to be 100 girls wanting the same thing that you want, or guys. But if you are true to yourself, if you believe in yourself, and if you're confident, I think that you can achieve whatever you want, you know. I think that anything is achievable with the right mindset, you know. And it's always good to start from somewhere. So, you know, you can start by doing stage shows, you can start by doing theater in your home country. If you decide that you want to go to Bollywood or even Hollywood, start in your home country, do modeling gigs, get in touch with an agency. I think agencies really help, especially if you're in the UK, for example, or if you're in Mumbai, if you're in Australia. Start off with an agency, get as much work done as possible, get a lot of exposure to the industry before you expose yourself to a bigger industry, if that makes sense. And never say no to an opportunity. I think any opportunity is a learning experience. And understand that there's not a lot of money in the industry. I think that when you go to Mumbai, you need to be prepared that, okay, you're not going to be getting a lot of work, you're not going to be booking a lot of ads. So go when you're financially prepared.
Thank you so much once again, and I hope you enjoyed the conversation.
I really did.
Thank you, my dear. Wish you all the luck in future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
और ये थी हमारी आज की गेस्ट, और मुझे उम्मीद है अलीशा से हुई बातचीत आपको पसंद आई होगी. अगर हाँ तो अपने व्यूज जरूर लिखकर भेजिएगा, और वॉच करते रहें इसी तरह से फेसबुक पर एंड यूट्यूब चैनल पर मेरे प्रोग्राम हार्ट टू हार्ट एंड ऑल्सो सोलफुल मंडे, एंड साथ ही साथ हमारा धूम रेडियो भी सुनते रहिए. अब आपसे आज्ञा चाहती हूँ अगले प्रोग्राम तक. बाय बाय, टेक केयर, अपना और अपनों का ख्याल रखिएगा.
Call Skylord Travel on 020 8582 1199. We'll try and find the best deal for you. Whether you're looking for flights or your dream holiday, India, Pakistan, Dubai, USA, Europe or Africa. Call now on 020 8582 1199. Book online or on your smartphone at skylordtravel.com. Skylord Travel. Travel simplified.
The gold, symbol of love, precious, ancient crystal structure. The diamond, Pakiza jewels for the precious moments of life.